decide to publish allegations about you, which you say are untrue, you'll have a claim for defamation, it's clear. So what happens then in the UK is, when it comes to journalism, is the journalist will either have to prove it's true, that the allegations are true, or they can rely on what's known as Reynolds' defence, which is a defence particular to journalists, and if they can show that they have published responsibly, they will have a common law defence. So they don't actually have to prove truth, but they have to prove that they've gone through a number of checklists, and they've been mentioned: checking your sources, checking other corroborating evidence, oftentimes contacting the subject of the article or of the allegations to get their side of the story. If those checklists can be ticked, the court will oftentimes, as long as there's a high enough public interest, decide that even though the allegations are defamatory and serious, the journalist has acted responsibly. And that's been an extremely useful defence for the British media. They've used it, especially in the context of investigative journalism, where they may not have a smoking gun, but they have a lot of material which put together suggests that what they're saying is true. It's not the case that if a journalist shows that he's complied with a certain standard of ethics, he'll automatically have a defence. It has to be assessed on a case-by-case basis, and as I said, it will be assessed on whether or not, on the facts of a particular case, the journalist has acted responsibly. And the questions that will be asked will change on the facts, and it will also change according to what the allegations are, and whether or not, most importantly, there's a public interest in publishing. So those are the factors the UK courts look at. They're not, there's no legally binding journalist ethics code which they have to have regard to, but journalist ethics are obviously, they compare to the checklist that I mentioned, which is to check your sources, try and cross-check them by using other evidence, by contacting the subject, the person who's subject to the allegations, etc. So that's how it's approached in the UK.